Well, then, it's still 6 o'clock. And we will bring to order our December 11th meeting and begin roll call, please.
Walters.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here.
Sarchet.
Here.
Vogel. Here. Anderson.
Here. Item 3, approval of agenda. A motion, please.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second. And roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
So it's time to close, item 4, public hearing. It's time to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting on a proposed development agreement between the city and Faction Investments LLC. When was the notice published, Jenny?
December 1st.
Have we had any written comments received for or against the development agreement?
No, sir.
At this time, I'd like to request staff to provide a report.
We'll provide the report this evening. So for the council to consider tonight is a proposed development agreement with Faction Investments LLC. You are considering a development agreement for a project at 1010 Tyler Street, which will include a restaurant, cafe, and professional office space. The City Council previously approved the site plan for this project earlier this year. The proposed agreement is for tax increment financing incentives up to $484,000. That would be over the period of 8 years. That's all.
Okay. Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the development agreement? Hearing none. I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. And roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Moving on then to 4A1, Resolution 2023-156, approving development agreement with Faction Investments LLC, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payment and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement. So I'll ask for a motion and a second and then any further discussion from council.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Walters.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Moving on then, it's time to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting on the proposed amendment to the FY 23-24 budget. Jenny, when was the notice published?
December 1st.
Have we had any written comments received for or against the budget amendment?
No, sir.
At this time, I would like to request staff to provide a report.
The proposed budget amendment for the council's consideration this evening is for the budget year July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. The proposed amendment includes amending for $23,000 in revenue and an additional $952,500 in expenses. The most significant amendment for this budget amendment includes 2 expenses. One is for the purchase of 1600 West Broadway Street, which the council approved several months ago. And the other is to hold a special census in September of 2024. We have to make that payment for the special census in January of this current budget year. The city's intent would be to fund that special census with general fund reserves and then replenish those reserves with local option sales tax in fiscal year 25.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the budget amendment? I then need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarchet. Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Dvorak.
So we'll move to B1, Resolution 2023-157, approving FY 2023 budget amendment number 1. Motion and a second, please, and then any further discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Moving on to C then, it's time to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting on the proposed disposal of interest in real property by transferring property to Central Iowa Water Works. Jenny, when was the notice published?
December 1st.
Have we had any written comments for or against the proposition for disposal?
No, sir.
At this time, I'd like to request staff to provide a report.
I will provide the report on this one also. So the council has been taking multiple steps to help be one of 12 communities and entities establishing Central Iowa Water Works, which is going to be a water producing utility. The other communities are outlined in the memo that I wrote for the council, but tonight's step in that process is to transfer the assets to Central Iowa Water Works from Polk City. Those assets include the water treatment plant and the water wells that the city owns. As we've mentioned previously with this process, this is a multi-step process that is not going to be finalized until all of the cities approve the 28E, 28F agreement, as well as the transfer of assets are complete. Do you have anything you want to add, Amy?
No, other than that, also the transfer of assets also includes the operating agreement that CIWW will enter into with the city to continue operating assets that you are transferring.
And we would be coming back to you probably in 2024 with an operating contract outlining those terms.
You conditionally approved it in the last action, but yes, there will be a finalization of that document.
Chelsea, I think it's important that you explain why we're doing this and what we gain by doing it. The city becoming initial members of the
Yep.
Central Iowa Water Works, if you would.
Yep. So getting enough water for our community has been an issue for a number of years. It's not been just an issue for Polk City, it's been an issue for the entire Des Moines metro region. And so right now, the city produces some of our own water, but we also have to supplement that production with purchasing water from Des Moines Water Works. We are always on Des Moines Water Works terms when we purchase water from them. They set the prices and the conditions with those purchases. So with centralizing the water utility, the benefits that we are getting is we're going to be able to, one, have a seat at the table on how the utility operates and what the rates are going to be. But we would also have the ability to get more water capacity, which has been an ongoing issue for Polk City. As you've all known, we have not had many opportunities to purchase more water capacity. So obtaining more capacity is one of the main reasons or benefits with Joint Central Iowa Water Works. Anything else you want me to add?
Well, because when we go over capacity, the rate we pay for water is increased substantially. So now we will, hopefully will not have those increases as during season as we use more water. Is that a good definition?
Yes, we pay a premium penalty, yes, when we go over our purchase capacity.
So that's another big benefit for the citizens doing this.
Yeah, so we just went through a work session. The presentation from BFM, will that be on our website? We're gonna post
Sure.
that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. It's hard to follow. I think I'm more confused now than I was when Matt started talking about an hour and a half ago, but nonetheless, this is a significant, whatever we can put out there in as consumable way as possible for the citizens to digest some of that information would be good. And I agree with what Ron said. It's a good cost-sharing move, and a fortunate piece, I think, for us to be able part of a metro and tie into water production elsewhere than having to do it on our own.
Is anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the proposition for disposal? I need a motion then to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson,
Yes,
Walters.
So then we'll move on to C1, Resolution 2023-158, conditionally approving the transfer of interest in real property by Polk City to Central Iowa Water Works. Motion and a second, and then any further discussion by the council, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson,
yes,
Walters,
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
We'll move on to item number 5, which is public comments. This is the time and place for comments for any item other than those that are a public hearing. Did we have anybody sign up, Jenny?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll move on to item number 6 then, which is our consent items. I'll ask for a motion and a second, please.
move,
Second.
And roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson,
yes.
Walters.
Moving on, whoop,
I'd just like to say that before we move on, that these are several items in here that are resolutions approving us to apply for grants that will help with some of these things that we're doing, and we like to keep those things moving forward because it saves tax dollars from the citizens.
moving on then to 7 business items. A, Go Polk City presentation of annual chamber report and request for FY25 funding. We have a presentation. In case you haven't done this before, Stacy, you'll want to say who you are and
And I do have a presentation to do. I will help you how to do that, so thank you. You haven't touched that by much. I need to borrow this. Okay. Thank you. So I'm Stacy Allen. I'm the new executive director of Go Polk City. So I've only been in this role for 3 weeks. But I'm excited about it. So I'm still enthusiastic after I've been here for 3 weeks. Like, that's a good start.
And I'm Brian Nelson, I'm president, board president of Polk City. That's the stand for person.
Do you hook up to Dell? Perfect.
Okay, so this was my introduction. I started November 16th. I was born and raised in Polk City, so I know it well. I grew up here, moved away for a short period of time, and came back in 2018. I was a small business owner in Polk City and part of the chamber prior to selling that business, so I just kind of felt like it was a good fit for me when I saw the role open up, so I applied. My goal is to have Go Polk City running as a well-functioning nonprofit business that it is, and that provides a great benefit to the city of Polk City and the businesses of Polk City. Our mission is to empower businesses and stimulate economic growth through advocacy, support, and resource sharing. We commit to fostering a thriving business climate, encouraging community development, and promoting Polk City as a prime destination for commerce, tourism, and living. In 2023, we had 6 ribbon cuttings. I was only here for 3 weeks, so just kind of went back and a little bit of the history. So, did some rededications and welcomed some new businesses into town. We also did the groundbreaking of City Hall, which was pretty exciting, and Lakefront Office Park. Currently, we have 84 members. 2 of those are just individual community members. 3 are at the investor level, 5 partner level, 5 trade members, meaning they help us with the service to be part of the chamber, and then 10 nonprofit members and 59 basic level members. Community events, so we did the Thursday farmers markets, the golf classic, 4 Seasons Festival, helped with Rag Brag, the Fall Fest. This year we had 1,800 in attendance for Fall Fest. It was down a little bit from last year, but it was also, if I remember correctly, it was very hot that day, so it didn't feel very fall. But trunk or treat, and then the city council and school board candidate forums and Light Up Polk City just earlier this month that I did get to be a part of. So that was super fun. And we had 2,400 in attendance, which was up from 1,800 from last year. So that was also pretty interesting. I didn't have the stats for the Four Seasons Festival to know how many people were here. And the place where we get that data is kind of slow in getting it, so I didn't get it before this presentation. But once I have it, if you guys would like to see, I'm happy to share. Looking ahead, so when I started, I did kind of notice that there were some things that were maybe could be improved on with Go Polk City. So here are the things that I'm going to be working on improving and showing you guys that what Go Polk City should be. So communication, I know that council members have been promised quarterly updates, and I don't think you guys have gotten those, so you'll be getting them from me. You'll probably be hearing from me more often because I would like to be attending these meetings, and when I can't attend, watching them online, of course. So I think it's just a good way to keep up to date, and you guys are a big part of the funding, so I should be here and be listening and be up to date and know what's going on. In those updates, though, I'll be giving you membership updates, new business outreach, like what's happening with that, a list of available properties. So that's something else I'm going to be working on putting on the website. So what commercial land we have, what spaces we might have for available for lease, and what maybe we could try to get in some of those spaces too. That would be a benefit to the city. Something else I'll be trying to work on is finding out what incentives the city might have for businesses to come to town, if there are any, or if there's options for that to kind of help promote that economic development. Attendance at events and outcomes of events. Members will be getting more communication as well, so a monthly newsletter, more networking opportunities. I'm working on revamping the website so they'll have the opportunity to post their own events onto a community calendar that can kind of go out to everybody so we can reach as many people as possible. Working harder on being an advocate, so being that middle person with the city and the businesses and kind of helping you guys all communicate a bit better too. For partnership, my goal is to improve and nurture partnerships with the businesses and the city of Polk City to foster economic growth. So that's like working with, I've already been, in my 3 weeks, I haven't been able to talk to too many people, but I've been trying to dig in and talk to people. So like I met with several people from the downtown district, and talked about ways that Go Polk City can kind of help them as well, communicate and just fostering good relationships is what I've really been working on. So I think that it's gone well so far. I'm working on implementing some organization within Go Polk City. So I really want to get it to running like a business again. So I've already had approved a CRM, and I'm going on vacation next week, but when I'm back, I have my launch call with that. So we'll get it kicked off and have a database rather than spreadsheets of all of the businesses in town, who's a member, who's not, how I can do outreach. It'll track all of it too, so there'll be some nice data in there. Working on that website revamp like I talked about, so highlighting businesses, really focusing on what Polk City has to offer. So if someone comes to Polk City and wants to know what to do, there'll be a little tab there too that kind of shows, here's what we have and here's why you should be here. Follow through is another big thing. So when we say we're going to do something, we need to actually do it. And that's something that you will be seeing from me as well. Project plans. I love a good project plan for all kinds of when we're doing events and just really being more organized about it with that. Something that was in the works before I started was an ambassador program. So I'm excited about that going too. And I do want to have a strategy session with the board to kind of produce like a vision statement and some goal setting so that's really focused and can show improvements and growth. One other part of the position is focusing on economic development, and so I'm excited to do that. What economic development is is different to everyone. So when you look up like the definition of economic development, it's really like, it varies. But here's what I think it should be. So business retention and expansion. So working with the businesses that we currently have and that are members, and even ones that are not, encouraging them to be a member and helping them grow and do well in Polk City. So that benefits the city and businesses. Attracting new businesses is part of economic development, and so is encouraging the growth of those new businesses. Plus, a little bit of it is tourism. So we have we have lakes, an awesome golf course, and so just getting people here to spend their dollars in Polk City is really what that would look like. Making sure I didn't miss anything in my notes. So what that looks like too is having that, how can we help each other mentality? So how can I help you spread the good word about Polk City, and how can I help the businesses in Polk City work well with the city and grow and do well. Membership growth. So my CRM will help with that a ton because it will help keep track of who we've reached out to and who we can have conversations with. It'll track everything right in there. So I'm very excited about that. The website revamp, I think, will also help with that. Highlighting our members is something we need to do better at, and showing the new members of Polk City and all members of Polk City what they have to offer, and showing the community that. So that would be fantastic. I have a few member benefit updates that I want to be doing to kind of help with those too. So those will be, once the board approves them, that'll be coming out. An addition of the business after hours and coffee and connections. So just different ways for the businesses to network. Bringing in the community too. So doing some non-member pricing. So if somebody's not a member, but they still want to attend the event, they can do that a little bit, an extra fee. So that was my presentation, but I'm sure you guys all have questions.
What was that acronym you used?
CRM.
Yeah.
Yep. So like it's a client relationship management program. Yeah.
I like what you had to say, especially the part about working with existing businesses. That's something that seems to have been lacking. I've heard that from past members. They felt like there was too much emphasis put on new businesses, not enough on existing businesses. And we need to remember the businesses have been here and been loyal to us for years and years. We need to support them and have them have a voice in what goes on. So I appreciate you having brought that up.
What are the some of the main things that you heard from existing businesses that the council was not necessarily supporting them? What are the expectations that have not been met, knowing that Go Polk City has been floundering a bit, but would love to understand sort of how you're going to bridge that gap and where we failed to kind of have a little bit of the decentralization of communication from current businesses to how we help economic development, which is part of that, obviously. That's, as I exit stage left, I would love to understand what that is, because I was apparently not on the right side of that, and don't even know what that meant, to be honest. So I would just,
Yeah.
what's the main piece of that?
So, granted, I've only been in it for 3 weeks. So, what I've been hearing though, it really comes down to communication. So, knowing that they have a voice and can be heard is going to be extra helpful. But then also going the other way. So, like knowing when the council approves something or passes something that maybe they're not always paying attention to, that has been communicated to them as well. So I think that what I want to do is kind of be listening, so attending these meetings and doing notes. I know that something that was helpful for me too is like Nick Otis was doing the like a recap for while he was running for council, and so that was super, super helpful for me. But so me doing something like that for the business owners, I think will also be helpful and kind of, kind of bridge that gap a little bit there too. I know that like change is hard for everybody, and Polk City is growing, and that's just going to be part of a growing pain that everybody has. But knowing that the businesses have a voice and can be heard, I think will be beneficial to them too. So me bringing things to you or vice versa.
Will that be acceptable to those here that are, and can't, say anything, nod ahead? Is this exactly what you want to be able to bridge the gap? Because it was nothing but divisive as we were, working through, just trying to understand the current state. So that's what is most important, is being able to bridge the gap and not have any division. So that is much appreciated, and delivering on what you say is obviously important, and it sounds like that's where you're going to be. So having their support as much as our support is what's most important moving forward. And no, I'm not rerunning.
No,
Maybe I'm putting some wounds, maybe putting some bandage.
yeah, you're definitely over personalizing an issue that I think Go Polk City had, and by extension we had, and which certainly wasn't, but taking it at that level was part of what made you who you are, and so we have to acknowledge that.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
But I like where you're going with that. How do we fix the communication? How do we fix some of the things that have gone wrong? And actually, to back up, Stacy, so excited that you're in this role. I think your perspective, history, and passion, skill set be a welcome addition to a needed area. That being said, I don't see any way where $75,000 of taxpayer money can be approved tonight. So we sat in this room a year ago and talked about a number of concerns that we had with continuing to allocate money. It's been a revolving door of the executive director. There's been a number of issues that have come up with Go Polk City. And from that point until today, seen nothing in terms of communication, as you alluded to earlier. But even more concerning than that, have seen nothing from a financial openness perspective. Here's where our in 2022, the $75,000 that we sent to the group went here, and it was put towards this event and this project. And so to fund that going forward would be irresponsible use, in my opinion, of tax money. So I've also observed very little accountability what groups, or for what this group has led. And you referenced the downtown group. I think the disconnect that we've gotten to the point where a whole new separate group has been formed is an indication of how problematic the structure is. So what I would like to see, and I need to bring that up as rationale for where we are at this point. What's more important is how we move ahead. So I think we need to collaborate with all the right parties and figure this out. Now that we have an exceedingly skilled executive director to lead this group, how do we best position it so we don't fall into the same traps that we've been in for, quite honestly, 3 years? And so all the slides that you have had up there are critical to what we do and what this group does, and to continue to pretend like we've not been anything other than failing for those would be a mistake. But again, just figuring out a way to fix some of those things and get to a better spot is important. So I think we can do that and not disrupt. As someone who started for 3 weeks, that's why I talked earlier and feel so much better having talked to you about this beforehand, but get to a spot that doesn't disrupt 3 weeks in and somebody's questioning the primary funding for where your employment dollars come from not probably the best first thing to have, but, again, do really want to just get to a better spot, fix some of the mistakes, address things that have been happening across the board. So we can have volunteers that want to get involved in events and feel fostered, feel supported by the things that they do. Have businesses that don't feel harmed by the events that we've been having and actually support it. So anyway, I jumped ahead to the motion, to the business item on here, but this is a big problem that we need to address.
Anyone else?
If I could, I think what Rob's saying in simplest terms, we are the stewards of the Polk City citizens' tax dollars. And we want to have answers to where those tax dollars go. And for quite a while, we haven't been able to answer those questions when they're asked of us. And we need to know that. And I, for one, I think I speak for everybody, love seeing your faces here, but don't come around just when you're asking for money. Come and visit us. We like to see you here. I won't get to see you anymore, but everybody else will. I'll be out there with you from now on. And I don't know, I hate to be that blunt, but it's the truth. Be a part of us, we'll be a part of you. We appreciate that. That's it.
So, yeah, I'm conflicted here. I'm so optimistic. I'm so excited, and I so value the businesses here in town, and I want to see something that helps the existing businesses flourish, that bridges that communication, that helps us seek out economic development, growth opportunities that are out there. But I do think it's a fair point that it has been a rocky road over the past few years. We've given funding. I know for quite a bit of last year, there wasn't an executive director salary to pay. So I do think number one is communication, obviously, and that's, communication and identifying clear goals, which in 3 weeks, it looks like Stacy's helping guide that in the right direction forward. I'm not a person that needs like a dollar for dollar, penny for penny, what's the money spent on, we're oversight, but, to a point that I think Rob made, it is kind of challenging to just say, okay, yep, here's some more money, hope that it goes better this year as far as having stability in the position, additional communication, and taking care of our businesses in town. So I think wherever this lands, I think that's going to be a big deal moving forward, is kind of helping us understand the value of our money. And again, I think some of it is tangible expenses, but I think for the investment of our money, or of the city's money, here's what it gets for the businesses in town. Here's what it, stays in expenses, and then here's some of the other components that come with it. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky situation in the timing right now with where we've been, but very excited, very optimistic about the future. It's definitely on a good track in the right direction.
Anyone else?
I did have, the 2024 budget for Go Polk City was approved in October, and I do have that for you guys.
I'd be
Copies for
interested
everybody.
in seeing, yeah, we can pass them around, that'd be helpful.
There's 2 pages. I have enough for everybody. As long as I don't stick to.
Thank you for the budget. It'd be a little hard to get too deep into the woods on this
Yeah, that's fine.
at this particular point. But we do appreciate you bringing a budget forward. And it probably responds to some of the comments that council has had about not knowing how the budget is spent. So here's a Excel sheet that demonstrates how the budget is spent. So I don't know if you have anything in particular you want to bring up in relation to this, council members.
I'm just going to say that in the fear of being a hypocrite, I'm going to certainly say yes to this. I think that trust but verify, and that we have competent people out here that are gonna be asking from one side and the other. So I believe that it's a mutual benefit of tug of war here. You're gonna be in the middle. So there will be accountability, based on this discussion. There's never been such a large group of people in support, asking for more from you. So your challenge will be certainly a high bar, but I know you'll do great, and those around you, will only make you better.
I'm excited for it, and I've been super encouraged when I've been out talking to a lot of the businesses and a lot of board members, and so it's been a good.
Definitely off to a good start.
Okay, so council has before it, item 1, approve Go Polk City funding request for 2024 in the amount of $75,000. I'll ask for a motion and a second, please,
Second.
and roll call.
Sarchet?
No.
Vogel?
Yes.
Anderson?
No,
Walters?
yes.
DeVorak?
Yes.
Motion approved. Thank you very much, Stacy, wherever you went. I didn't even see you leave, but thank you very much. Item 2 then, Resolution 2023-159, obligating funds from the Urban Renewal Tax Revenue Fund for appropriation to the payment of annual appropriation tax increment financed obligations to Go Polk City for FY 25. We'll ask for a motion in a second and then any discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. I want to make sure that while we're looking at these two items, that to echo what everyone said, that there will have to be a level amongst Polk City. Plan on being at these meetings next year and reporting back to us. The following or subsequent years, there's less funding availability. We don't have the appetite to do that.
I just, paying for this the way we did this year, is this new?
We've been doing this the past few years.
Okay.
So let me clarify. The first action item tonight, you approved the fiscal, or you approved the 2024 amount of $75,000. The second item is your obligating funds from the Urban Renewal Tax Revenue Fund to appropriate next year. So we have to ask for the funding from the county. You would then next December have to approve the funding request for next January. So it's a multi-step process.
Thank you for the explanation. I'll come back if there's treats in this.
So before us then is Resolution 2023-159, obligating funds from the Urban Renewal Tax Revenue Fund for appropriation to the payment of annual appropriation tax increment financed obligations to Go Polk City for FY 25.
I'm gonna make that motion to repeat all.
Motion in a second.
I already have
We
it.
have them, so we just need roll call.
DeVorak?
Yes.
Sarchet?
No.
Vogel?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Moving on to B then, Citizen Served Service Agreement. Yep. Presentation.
Cody is going to provide the report on this tonight.
Yes, please.
So I'm Cody Olson, the building official for Polk City. I've been doing some research here on the software that we'll proceed with to kind of take over our party inspections. I've met with Urbandale's building official, spoke to Johnston's building official, that have both kind of persuaded me to look at this route. They've all spoke about past software that they've used and highly discouraged going that route just because it wasn't functional. Customer service was terrible. Citizen Serve, after their demo, appears to have fantastic customer service, and I couldn't find any downside that anybody currently using them in the metro has. Right now, Altoona, Urbandale, both use the service and have since 2020. Clive is currently being switched to them. And Johnston, when their service agreement is up with their current software, will also switch. And I think it just provides a very fluid way that we can take over our inspection services with how we have third-party engineers. It just allows for a very seamless way to operate, being web-based. Also allows that for the customer pulling permits to be done all on the internet. Can do multiple things as far as our inspections go. It can handle code compliance stuff. Public Works will be able to utilize it along with the PD and our building department.
Questions from council?
It sounds good. In years I've been on this, sitting up here, the biggest thing I've heard about inspections in Polk City is inconsistency, lack of communication. I've heard it from home builders with additions, trying to make improvements to their own house. I've heard it from contractors about they were never quite clear, and it's good to know you're taking steps in that right direction.
All right, then we need a motion to approve the Citizen Serve Service Agreement and a second.
Second?
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Vogel,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Dvorak, Sarchet.
Thank you, Cody. Our next item is C, Snyder and Associates Incorporated, October 2023 Engineering Services invoice in the amount of $64,211.50. We need a motion to approve and a second, please.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Vogel,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Walters,
Abstain.
Dvorak, Sarchet.
Yes.
So we'll move on to item number 8, reports and particulars, and we'll begin with staff, please. Anything from staff?
I do.
Yes.
You want me to come up?
Sure.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the crews this weekend. They had another CPR save, 61-year-old female at Fairway. So I wanted to recognize that crew for their good work. Firefighter paramedic Craig Sosby, firefighter paramedic Carrie Davis, firefighter paramedic Melissa Perry, and then Ankeny came and assisted. So firefighter paramedic Colton Reinhardt, and then Polk City police officer Alex Delaney. So this was a witness arrest. Officer Delaney got on scene, did high quality CPR, and shocked once with the AED. Until our staff arrived, we took over the care and had to shock 5 times, and then got a pulse back in the field and transported, and I believe she will be out of the hospital soon, so just want to give a shout out.
Thanks for bringing it up, Carla. Just real quick, so I got a text message earlier, about an hour before, to understand Tony, the manager at Fairway, started CPR, PD took over, and then FD took over, right?
Yes.
So the doctor, a family friend, had reached out, cited both of the earlier stages. So confluence of obviously only happens when it's witnessed, like you said. But thanks for bringing this up. And I know there's a GoFundMe page from the assistant manager at Fairway. So great job once again. That's why you're here. And appreciate everything. Just a little update.
Anyone else from staff? Okay, we'll move on to city manager.
I have nothing, thank you.
How about council?
Well, I just want to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you for the privilege of serving. being here for these 32 years. I want to thank the citizens of Polk City to having the confidence in me to elect me 8 times. Greatly appreciated. I've enjoyed it, made some new friends, people I might not have met otherwise. Enjoyed it. I'd like to recognize somebody else in this room that helped me keep grounded. She's here for the first time, my wife, Diana. She's kept me grounded for 57 years.
Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Is this really your first meeting?
Yes.
She trusts me that much.
Yeah, that's it, that's it.
And likely your last?
Probably.
Okay. Anybody else from council?
I might have something real quick. Ron, you totally downplayed. I mean, your resume of what you've done in this city for 40 years, the amount of knowledge that's going out the door, good and bad. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, Ron, I've been honored to not only, serve with you, but even disagree once in a while, but it's always, you're just a good man. Your integrity is amazing. You served for so long, and all the time that you've given Diana, it's amazing. So it's been nothing but a pleasure, and you're totally downplaying the impact that you've had on the city, sir.
Well, thank you. In the 16 years that we spent together up here, very
It's
important.
been fun, yeah. So I want to thank God for giving me the skills and abilities to do what I've been able to do the last 16 years. Similar to Ron, my wife Mona, it's also her first meeting. I don't know, whatever, they get together maybe when we're out. For allowing me to spend hours and hours of time here and with you.
So Mona, thank you too.
Yes,
Appreciate that very much.
yes, thank you. And the citizens for trusting me for the last 4 years, for all of you, everybody that's been here past and present. This group especially fond of me. Obviously, we've been together for a bit. But I want to bring something up that's very important. Those of you know who Dan Lane was. He served for 16 years. He passed away in 2020. 62 years old. I want to make sure we don't forget Dan Lane. He'd be sitting right there with his Santa hat on for the entire month of December. So to Dan, rest in peace, and Patsy, his wife, and family. Also, this is such a blip in our lives. It's just a start and a beginning. Or, I'm sorry, a start and an end to whatever it is. And to me, the true character of somebody comes out when facing the end and not knowing what the next step may be, but the excitement of what that might be. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. So we can't let Dave and Ron leave without a little presentation. So we've got a little presentation, and then if any council members have anything they want to share, you're welcome to do it at that time. So we'll call the guy up with the least amount of service, which would be Dave, which is a tremendous amount of service, actually. We have a clock for you, Dave. It says, in appreciation for your 20 years of service, 20 years of service. And the way we got to that number was 16 years on city council, 4 years on Parks Commission, and several years with volunteer organizations in Polk City. So that's how we got there. Put that clock in front of you like that with this hand.
Oh, you want me to actually,
Shake mine.
Sorry. I don't want to be,
You get that side
I really don't.
with this hand. There you go. I'll take it with this hand. You've probably never done this before.
No,
Great.
I like to deflect
Thank
it.
you very
so
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Councilman Anderson to come up also. And we're gonna be backwards for you. That's easy too. So this is, clock says, in appreciation for your 40 years of service. And how did we get there? 32 years on city council, 18 years on planning and zoning, started in 1974. And as we all know, countless years of volunteer work in the community. So Ron, thank you very much as well. Grab the clock with you. There you go. And I've got mine right here. We're
Okay.
good to
Thank you
go.
very much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, so I don't know if any council members have anything they'd like to say as we wrap this up. It's entirely up to you. And if not, we'll just go ahead and,
I'd like to hear from all the citizens.
Everyone make a comment?
everyone
Be
else.
here all night?
I'm kidding.
okay.
No, I'll go. It's been a pleasure serving with you guys. You know, I'm the least experienced person up here, which it's going to be a long time till I get anywhere close to you, Ron. But you know, you both have been so easy to work with. You both have kept the wishes of our citizens and everybody's perspective in mind in every decision that you make. I know sometimes we don't always agree on everything, but it's important to have all the perspectives considered. And Ron, I think you did a great job of that. I'm going to miss you up here, but I know I will see you at the Rising Sun Cafe more often than not. So I'm sure you will help me keep that in check. And Dave, you definitely always kept our citizens in mind when making every decision you had. Keep in touch.
Anybody else?
I'll go next. So, Ron, I don't know where to start, man. The fixture of first starting to come to meetings on the fire department and then planning and zoning and the constant that you have been. And I think anybody who's as passionate about keeping the small town feel as you have been for 1974. Wow. But
I actually started in '68 when I moved to town. So it's a little bit. You want me to go through the whole? No.
we're delving. You're from the east side. You used to be very tough. We get that. But what I see, and I mean this sincerely, you are tough. I don't want to make it sound like you are, but you care and are motivated by trying to make things better and whatever marginal things that we didn't agree on, which weren't very many, are anybody who's as motivated to do right as they see fit and spends the time needs to be commended. So appreciate that. And be nice to her on Monday. She's had an easy go of it for a long time.
What you don't hear, she does.
So Dave, too, I remember meeting. It was sandbagging down here, which would have been the 2012. Am I right with that?
Probably 8.
But I was relatively new, working on whatever we were trying to do to save something that also needs saving. But it was a mobilization of a lot of people. And here comes this big, tall, handsome council person. And he's shaking hands and he's doing all this. And I'm like, well, not working, but at least he's looking. You were working. I don't remember. But subsequently getting to know you has been a joy. Watching you endure some of the things that you had to endure is a testament to your character. And similar to Ron, never, ever questioned the motivation, never thought twice about, where you were coming from. So leaving a couple big gaps and some big shoes to fill. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you both for your service. I wouldn't be here without you. I think I still have the paperwork that you gave me back in 2011. I probably should give it back to you. I steal everything else. Pay it forward. And then, Ron, thank you too for the insight over different terms that I've been on up here. I very much appreciate the polarities that we have up here, the arguments that we could have, but still be friends.
That's one of the things I'm proudest of. It started a long time ago, the disagreements we'd have in here and discussions, sometimes heated, and we'd go outside and laugh about it and be ourselves. Thank you.
Congratulations. Tomorrow, you're 2 unemployed city
Yeah.
people. So,
We got
good luck.
one more thing. I want to just wish Nick and Jeff
Yeah.
all the best. God's blessing to you.
Mm.
Big shoes over there, small shoes. You guys take your pick, but I wish you nothing but the best.
And I'd also like to say, President, incoming, any questions, feel free to call me, because I always have an opinion.
Chelsea, we want to give you the chance to say anything you'd like to say as well.
No, I appreciate both. Been two very good council members to work with over the past 4 years. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for taking the time to get to know me. And I appreciate everything you've done. So thank you.
I have a question for you. Do you call everybody else on Monday morning, or just me?
I call everybody.
Okay.
It's not always on Monday morning though.
Shoot, I thought I was.
You are always the first call I make because I know that you're just getting done at the rising sun.
And that I need reminding sometimes.
Okay, so I guess I get to finish by saying thank you very much to Ron and Dave. It's been a pleasure being up here and working with you for the past 2 years. For me, I don't think the public realizes, they see everybody come here for these meetings, but they don't realize how many hours go into being prepared to come to these meetings and act on things that are important to the city. It's always a pleasure of mine to talk to our city council members, either by phone, but a lot of times over coffee at the Rising Sun. And I think that's also a good way of letting the public know that we're working for the public when we're out in public. And Ron and Dave have been very good at doing that. And I don't want to diminish the role that our other council members have provided for that too, because they're great at doing it as well. So thank you for that. I think openness is so incredibly key for running a great city like ours, particularly a growing city like ours, and we appreciate that very much. You guys are leaving. We welcome our new city council members on board for January. Now, that all said, this seems kind of silly, but I did also want to mention that we had a great Light Up Polk City event. We had a huge crowd, and it was literally loads of fun and a beautiful evening for it. And those are the kinds of celebrations that set our city apart. And I know our council members participated in them, and we recognized Ron at the Light Up Polk City event, got to help us with the countdown. And then also thanks to staff for all the decorations, because it's a very lighthearted time of year, and everything we do isn't always serious here. So we appreciate that as well. So on that note, I guess I will just say Merry Christmas to everybody, Happy Holidays. Thanks to everybody who was here tonight, and I will ask for a motion to adjourn and a second, please.
For the last time, I make a motion to adjourn.
Last time I was second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed must stay.